You're going to notice going forward that I'm going to cut down on my edit, and I'm going to try to make as many videos as possible before I close down my channel sometime maybe next February because of work, 80% chance. And then after that I'll be gone for a few months. So I'm just trying to get all my videos out as fast as possible. So today we're going to talk about the Magnepan LRS. I'm not going to go into detail and break it down, but I just want to share my experience with you because I'm sure a lot of you are curious like me. What's so good about the LRS? Everybody say it's amazing. You see, I picked this up on the used market, and the person who sold it to me is somebody who actually watches my channel. So I asked him, why are you selling the LRS? Everybody says it's amazing. And he shared with me his story. And in today's video, we're going to talk about all this. So I'm going to quickly put up here on screen the specs for this speaker. And for me, the most important is the sensitivity, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, I think it's actually more difficult to drive than what is shown here. The thing that I like about the Magnepan LRS is that it's not heavy. It's so easy to move it around. So the last time I tried a flat panel speaker like this were Quad 2905. I think those are electrostatic, but these are quasi-ribbon. So they're not exactly the same. My issue with 2905 is that the top end can be a little bit rolled off for my taste. You know, you see I'm a focal lover. I like that top sparkling sharpness with the beryllium tweeter. And I don't get that with the Quad 2905. Now, the Magnepan is actually quite sharp on the top end. In fact, so much so that they give you jumpers. I actually took them up. At one point, I was thinking of using them to tone down the sharpness. The LRS, you can actually tilt it forward or you can point it upwards. There's this little thing behind the speakers where you can use it to tilt the speaker forward or upwards. I usually point it upwards, so it doesn't sparkle like the focals, but I don't feel like, oh man, I wish it was a little bit sharper. I don't have that feeling. So in some sense, I actually prefer the Magnepan over the Quad 2905. Now, mid-range, I find it very natural. Nothing stands out about it. There's plenty of texture information in the mid-range. Bass is adequate. Think of it like a stand mount speaker. You're going to get that kind of bass. However, it is really fast. The bass is fast. It doesn't go really low, so you still need to want to pair it with a subwoofer. Having said that, even if you don't pair it with a subwoofer, I feel that it is satisfying enough, the bass. I don't think that this is a neutral sounding speaker, because usually when I listen to neutral sounding speaker, my body go like, okay, I got to get used to this. I don't find the top end lacking or the bass lacking. So it probably has a little V curve there going on, and I really enjoy it. Now, of course, what stands out the most with the LRS is the soundstage. Really big soundstage. If you want to add more depth to your soundstage, just add a sub to it, and it's going to expand the depth of the soundstage. When it comes to dynamic, it's okay. So overall, it sounds really good. So here's the thing, right? I always say, if I describe how it sounds, it doesn't really tell you much. Okay, so what's so special about the LRS? A lot of speakers can do what I just said. And the fact that I say it sounds good, well, what does it even mean? So to help me evaluate this speaker, I got two of my friends to help me out, all right? One, I got Mr. Kanta because he's a focal lover. And the second person I got involved is Mr. Quad. Mr. Quad, he has Quad 2905. They're like electrostatic speakers. They're flat. The Quad 2905, I think it's about MSRP 20 times the price of this. So, you know, for us who never listen to this kind of speaker, we might be blown away by it because it's different. And for me, Mr. Quad is used to this kind of speaker, right? Crazy soundstage. And I was curious, would he say like, man, this is like a toy? Or would he say that this is damn amazing? So I was curious, so that's why I got him involved. So I'm going to start with the negative. How's that? And then I'll go on the positive. The negative, you need current to drive these speakers. I know everybody heard this like a million gazillion times. You know, the person I bought the LRS off, the reason why he sold it is because he said that, look, with his name, it gets really hot. So that's why he sold it. When I lend this to Mr. Quad, he actually also has name, and not the cheap ones, like the higher end ones. And he told me, look man, the name cannot drive this thing. So you need something that has a lot of current. He drove it really well with the Hegel H300. He drove it very well with the Mcintosh 6700. And he told me the name, nope, forget it. So it is a difficult to drive speaker. And if you look on their website, they even say they design the speakers with really high-end gear. So it's meant to be paired with something that's really high-end. And I think this part, they're not kidding about it. You see, the first time I heard it was at Mr. Kanta's home. He had it paired with the Cayin CS55a with these Coke bottle tubes. Very nice. It's smooth, it's emotional, but we cannot listen in loud volume because it, you know, that little tube integrated amp Cayin CS55a cannot drive it to normal loud listening volume. And yet we were very impressed by it. At the time, I had another friend drop by. He has been listening to Magnepans for 30 years. He listened to the LRS and he said that, wow, I am very impressed with this. Fantastic. Later on, Mr. Kanta drove it with the Burson Conductor paired with Wyred4sound Class D 1000 watt amp. He said it sounded good. It was okay. But you know what though? I tried the Cayin CS55a at my home. I tried it with the Doge 10. I tried it with the Willsenten R8. And for me, it was good. It's not something that I'll drive it with because, you know, there's no point using tube integrated amps to drive this unless you have plenty of power. The Cayin CS100 with 8 tubes, yeah, okay, you can use that to drive this. Sounds great. But with the small integrated amp, I thought it was okay. Sounded good. I guess, yeah, that's what the hype is all about. Everybody's impressed by it. And then I decide, you know what? All right, let's bring out the big guns, plug it to the Mcintosh 6700, and I was blown away, man. I'm like, whoa, this is what the LRS can do. And that's where I go like, man, I wish people can hear the LRS in all its glory. So Mr. Quad said with the H300, it drove it really well. the Hegel H300. It's too bad I don't have my Hegel H200 anymore, but I expect it to be a really good match. In fact, I call Mr. Kanta, I say, dude, man, at your place, maybe 70%. That's the potential of these LRS. You put it with something that is able to drive it. Oh my God, the soundstage is so big. The bass, man, is lightning fast. I'm like, damn, it's like competing with the Kanta. It is round. There's a certain nuance to the bass. If your amp can drive these LRS, completely different compared to when I heard it with the Cayin CS55a. For me, it's okay. I mean, okay, I can see what the hype is. With the Macintosh, I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys have not heard what the LRS can do, man. Well, at least Mr. Kanta, when I spoke to him. So this for me is a negative because to really bring out the potential of the LRS, you need something really good to drive it. Because this is not a review sample and I just want to enjoy it, I didn't try all my gear with it. I did not try my Class D amps with it. I didn't try my other Class AB amps with it. Once I put in the Macintosh, I said, forget it, man. I'm just going to listen to music and enjoy it. And I guess my message here is the LRS is freaking amazing. It's amazing, but you need the gear to drive it. Not only the soundstage is really big, the thing just disappears. I guess that's the advantage of not having a cabinet. So you don't hear any resonance. And because of that, you don't hear the speakers. They're just gone. And all you get is a wall of sound, lots of layering in the sound. And the instruments, they just sound right. I guess that's one way I can describe it. You see, I chat with Mr. Quad. Mr. Quad is a musician. He plays bass. And he told me, look, when he listens to the Magnepan, it sounds natural. The bass sounds natural. And when he compared it with his Quad 2905, which cost 20 times the price, he said, once I add in a sub, man, the difference is not that big. If I live in a condo and if I have the space, the Magnepan, this is what he'll get. And I think it's meaningful because for somebody who lives with this kind of speaker all like most of his life, because before that he had the Quad 989, for him to really enjoy it. He said that once he put it in, he just listened to it. He didn't like, okay, put it in one day, take it out, let's put back my quad and go at it again. No, he just listened to it until he had to give it back to me. For him, he say price performance, number one. It's like incredible. And for him, he likes to listen to chorus and orchestra music, jazz. Not good for, let's say, maybe heavy metal that requires a lot of bass because it doesn't go really deep. But that's not the point of a Magnepan. You want an airy soundstage? You don't want to use tubes in your system? Fine, get these. You're going to get your airy soundstage. And it's one thing you have to experience to really understand it. But he did warn me though. If your amp cannot drive it well, you're not going to get that beautiful airy soundstage and that really nice bass. Because when your amp doesn't drive it well, the bass is not clean. So it's not multi-layer, it's not nuanced, it's one note. And because bass is your foundation, it's gonna affect every other thing else, like the mids and the highs. So for him, it is important that your gear can drive the LRS so that it sounds natural. And that got me thinking, maybe, you know, if musicians ask me for recommending speaker, I would say, I think that Magnepan LRS or Magnepan speakers are the way to go. Now the catch is you need the room. So let's end the video at this point. I can understand, once you experience this kind of soundstage, man, it's hard to go back. The person I spoke about earlier, he spent 30 years listening to Magnepan. So he decided, Thomas, I'm gonna change speaker. I'm gonna go with box speaker. So he bought a Dying Audio Special 40. He listened to it, he gave it a 2 on 10. He said that, oh, no, he sent it back. Because for him, he said, it's like a too small speaker. I don't get that ginormous soundstage. Of course, anybody who plays with Dying Audio Special 40 knows that it is an amazing speaker. I had it in my room before, so I know that it sounds really good. But in the face of a Magnepan, the soundstage is just not the same. So that's why I can understand people who love Magnepans, it's hard for them to go back to box speakers. For me, who's used to speaker with really big soundstage, even then, my jaw dropped when I listened to the LRS. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.
I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been found. My cause is not defined. Won't you kiss me? Won't you play? Won't you judge me? Ain't no way I could deny you, I could stray. Won't you kiss me? I never think, I never know. I'm stuck and left alone. I've been lost, I've been found. My cause is not defined.